barn structure and some of the landscaping and some of the, what's proposed with the remainder of the lot, and we'll save the ADU for the end, but you certainly can mention that.
Yeah, I think since we approached it, our adjectives have been small and gorgeous. And we want to create that kind of property with a structure for our cars, but with a lean-to that also allows kind of a patio space there that we'll be able to create a nice yard. Because the property is so long and narrow, we're trying to make sure that, again, like we have the sunlight in the afternoon, and so we're trying to work on the property so that we're having privacy as well as utilizing the space to make it really beautiful.
And the structure, you can see an image of what's been made part of the application. That is same or similar to what's being proposed, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned the lean-to. There is a lean-to off to the left for a car, correct?
Yeah, and the car will be able to go into the garage and also under the lean-to.
Okay.
we
So
use it
essentially
that way.
two spaces. It's a post and beam,
Correct,
and no foundation. It will be on slab, correct?
correct.
It would be constructed on-site?
Put together off-site, and then the puzzle will be built up when it arrives.
Assembled?
Yeah.
Assembled.
Okay. And we're requesting relief twofold for this structure. Not for the structure itself, but for the distance from the boundary,
Mhm.
correct?
Correct.
And the boundary, there is a structure on the other side. The property that you're closer to looks like it's a large structure with a carriage house or a barn-type structure
Correct.
in the back. You're familiar with that property?
It's actually a big Airbnb type property. It rents weekly. I think it has 8 bedrooms, but the structure right there is a carriage house. That's kind of a game room and sleeping area, but there's no full bath in that carriage house. That's on the other side of the fence.
And the reason for locating it where it's proposed is what? Or why?
Well, because the cars are gonna be there, we want a little bit of a yard, and how far away do we want our cars from our house? We thought about moving it back into that other little like bump out there, but then you're like really far away from the house if you're like in the winter. I mean, it's kind of too far.
You want access easy, not so easy, but you want it to be accessible from
Yeah.
the main structure,
It's
correct?
going to be our garage, so yes.
Okay. And height, there's a request for relief from height. This is an accessory structure. In order for this to be used as you wish to use it, right, which is a garage, it's essentially going to be a garage, right? We call it a barn, but it's going to be a garage, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
You certainly would need that clearance, correct, for the height?
Well, the house is small, so we need the extra space. Like, we want to create kind of a loft area in the garage, so the garage can have storage, but also have another area for like exercise space or storage space. Right now, we have a storage unit that we're using, so.
But primarily cars and storage,
Yep.
correct?
Correct.
And it certainly will have that post and beam barn-type feel to it, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Which will complement what you're doing to the main house, correct?
We think so, yes.
Okay.
That's what we did. If you look at the rendering that we passed out, that's the actual wood, that cedar wood, and it's going to tie in nicely to that barn. Correct.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone's driven by the house lately, but you can see that front porch there now with the cedar and the cedar floor, and they're starting the siding today or yesterday.
Okay. And so, the next item moving in linear fashion is an ADU. We're proposing an ADU for this lot, correct?
Correct.
And there are at least three requests for relief, dimensional relief: height, area of the structure, and relief from the 20,000-foot requirement. I would submit that one of those relief, the house, the square footage of the house, the ADU is based on a calculation of the residence without that bump out, that 240 square foot bump out. I think had they just come in just.
Can you use the mic, please?
I'm sorry, I'm so used to standing to the side. Had they made application just for the residents and the bump out and received that relief, they would certainly could use that, we believe, as calculation for what's allowed for the ADU. And I think we would have pushed us over.
What do you mean by that?
So the ADU is,
But what does the main house have to do with the size of the ADU?
well, it's calculated, there's the way that the square footage of the ADU is calculated in part is by what the square footage of the main structure is, and then it takes a percentage. I think it's 60%. So if you included the 240 square foot bump out that's being proposed tonight as part of that calculation, it would have put us over, I believe. It's a moot issue because we're here asking for the relief, but I point that out only in that that one is a close call.
Meaning that, well, but it wouldn't help with the lot size, though,
It would not help with the lot size. So
Or
the
the
lot
height.
size is the lot size.
and the height of the building,
And the height.
and the location of it, 3 feet from the property line.
Well, so I think we're within the
Is the side setback okay
there's
on
not
that?
a side setback issue on this structure.
Oh, yeah, I can't see it on this 8x10, does not help me.
Right.
So it is 6 feet.
Yeah. So the main structure is one dimensional variance. The barn is 2 dimensional variances, and the ADU is requesting 3 dimensional variances. That adds up to 6, which is, you rattled them off. You listed them when you read the application off the
Right.
agenda. So
Okay.
there isn't a side, there isn't relief requested on the side yard setback, or it's tight. It's,
So that fence is 5 feet away from the property line right now? The fence that's on that property? So you're building it right up to where that fence is, basically?
we're locating it such that we won't need relief from the side setback.
No, I understand, but I mean, just in terms of the placement on the property itself. I lived 25 years, I was across the street from that house, from that property.
On the meadow side?
On Meadow, and my daughter and the Dwyers played in that parking lot for their whole childhood, so I know that property very well.
Okay.
Okay, so you're asking for height, size, and what's the third on that?
The lot area.
Lot area.
So
So the
the-
3 for the ADU.
Right,
okay.
so the lot is 14,000 square feet, roughly. It's a little bit more than that. And the ordinance requires 20,000 square feet. So there's a net there.
So why ask for it, though? Like, why ask for an ADU on something that's already an undersized lot? You're asking for a large barn, and so why an ADU?
So, I mean, well, I'll let you address first the purpose and the behind an ADU, but certainly the town, I would submit that the town, as well as the state, has preference, if possible, where it can, to accommodate an ADU. There's nothing, I think each one is on its own merit, on the property, the location, whether it fits in,
Right.
whether it meets all those other requirements. And I think this checks all those boxes.
But you have to ask for 3 different variances to put it in.
Well, and we do, which is not unheard of, right? It's the reason why the ordinance allows for variances.
Well, yeah, but there were parameters put in to say that this is the ideal site for an ADU, and it's of a certain size of the lot, and the ADU is a certain size, was established by the state. It wasn't established by the town, so it wasn't that South Kingstown said, this is what we want. This is what the state told us what we want.
Right, which by law, you're obligated to comply with.
We are, but,
But this town was ahead of the state in having its own ADU statute ordinance before the state went through its recent.
it did, but it was much more
enactments.
restrictive than this is allowing.
Right, no question.
Right, but this isn't allowed.
It's not allowed without the variances that are requested. You're
Right.
absolutely right.
So why do you need it then?
So do you want to speak to why you've proposed an ADU? Yes, sorry.
First off, if there's a lot of dead space to the back of the property, and I believe it's ideal to put in an ADU because, first off, everybody knows how hard it is to get affordable housing. So much so that I have a brother that has lived, he lives in Wakefield as well, and he has been trying for 3 months to find affordable housing unsuccessfully. And he, this is the first time one of his siblings is going to be moving near him, and he is likely to be moving to Pawtucket or East Providence because he can't find affordable housing here.
Right.
So, yeah, that's why.
Okay,
And so so there's that, which is why it's being proposed. And yes, we do need the zoning relief in order to build what we're proposing. But it's certainly, there's nothing exotic about what's being proposed. There's nothing unusual about what's being proposed. We've included a rendering. It certainly fits within the area, the neighborhood. It certainly fits within the mixed residential uses that exist along Ruladrift, that exist in the neighborhoods behind. So it's right in character with that area. And certainly the lot can accommodate it. It can accommodate the height without question. It can accommodate what's being proposed. It's certainly better, I would think, that people who live in that area would have a sigh of relief over what could have been proposed by someone who bought this and proposed to raise the main structure and maybe propose something a little bit more aggressive than what's being proposed.
well, I mean, it's a very skinny lot, so I mean,
It's a very skinny lot.
anything that you'd build, you'd probably need to be here anyway.
Most likely.
I think if I could, when we were looking at ADUs and working to create something that was within the neighborhood, just as an aside, we know that there are particular style windows in the neighborhood, and so the windows that we've chosen are all the same, so that, just things like that. But we were thinking that the ADU would be 2-bed, 2-bath, and it got too big to comfortably have that. So we worked with the designer to do 2-bed, 1-bath, so we could create something that's, really nice to live in and not just kind of like an extra for like, we just wanted it to be really nice in the neighborhood.
And I would add, and complements what's on Meadow, and also it has that back entry on Meadow, which it would be private access for people living in the ADU off of Meadow, where we can
will be there as owners.
Okay. How many square feet is the principal dwelling? Without the screened porch?
Without the screen porch, 1,300 roughly, without the screen porch and without the addition.
Okay. Ms. Hicks?
May I just ask, in terms of the pictures, is that a picture of your primary residence on the,
That picture in front of you is the primary.
this is the primary, and what's that a picture
That's the
of?
ADU.
That's the ADU. Okay, so is the ADU 2 floors? Because it has a window, it's a one-story, it's not, that window above the front door is not a second-story window? Okay. All right, because the packet we received had no information about the ADU other than the site plan with the little square that said
Um,
ADU. So-
I thought we had submitted a floor plan for the ADU. I believe we submitted floor plans for both units, ADU and the main residence. Both single story, the existing building will remain a single story, that we are working within the footprint of the building, but for what we're requesting on the rear, the ADU, again, a single story structure and proposal.
Mr. Daniels?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So you're asking for about 25% relief on the lot in order to place the ADU. Over 5,000 square feet relief for the ADU, right?
Yes.
Why do you need 2 bedrooms? Why do you need 26 by 26, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths? Why?
Well, as I mentioned,
Step up.
we've changed the design to not,
I can't, you need to speak up, ma'am.
we've changed the design to only have 1 bath to make the actual footprint smaller.
So 2 bedrooms, 1 bath.
Well, the plan we have in front of us doesn't reflect that. You're testifying that it's 1 bath, but I don't see the plan for 1 bath. You're still gonna have two bedrooms, and you're still gonna have 26 by 26, correct? Or 26 by, 34, is it? 39 total with the porch. So why do you need that size? Why do you need bedrooms, 2 bedrooms to begin with? And you're asking for a ton of relief here. A ton, in my judgment. Why can't you do a 1-bedroom ADU for the individual that you have in mind? Or are you just gonna rent it? Are you just gonna rent it and
Well,
let it rip?
They certainly
Well-
have the prerogative to rent it, but the individual, practically speaking, right, a 2 bedrooms, I would submit is fairly standard, right? I mean, to accommodate a family, even though it's an ADU.
Understand, but we don't have testimony that you have a family that's gonna move in there. You said a single brother that's looking for affordable house.
Right.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
So when you talk about a family, now you're talking about a rental property. I understand you can rent the property, but that's not the intent of an ADU in my
Sure.
judgment.
Understood.
I understand you can rent it, and that concerns me. As a 2-bedroom structure, you're asking for 5,000 feet of relief, and you're asking for a height variance to peak your roof.
Understood.
So at some point, none of this is cheap, okay? So, and yes, there will be some form of rental income. I don't know that my brother will be moving in there or not. I'm just using that as an example of how difficult it is. And so from a rental standpoint,
Yep.
you can get more for a 2-bedroom than a 1-bedroom.
So you're talking about a rental. That's your testimony. Okay, okay, I hear you.
So,
Okay, can you refresh my memory? Isn't there a percentage of the square footage of the main primary residence that limits the size of the ADU? Because by my calculation, if what they're saying is the primary residence is 1,300 square feet, multiplying 26 by 29, I get 1,014. So the ADU is almost the same size as the primary residence. There's only a 300, you know, so isn't there a limit to the size of the ADU?
So the two bedrooms limited to 1,200 square feet or 60% of the primary dwelling, whichever is less. So in this case, I have on the screen here the tax assessors and, calculation of 1,363 times 0.6, 817 would be the 60%.
Yeah, this one is 1,014 as proposed.
And and that's the relief that I believe that they're requesting. Is that accurate or no? The porch would not be, would not be calculated in that floor area, the covered porch.
They mentioned 884.
So I think when it's time to make a motion, the first motion the board can make is considering the lot size variance request, when it's time to make a motion for the ADU, because if you don't get over that hump, then they don't have the ability to do an ADU at all, because the lot size relief is what would enable them to have an ADU on the property.
So also explain to me this egress here. You mentioned that there's not a lot of yard, but then you're taking up most of the yard with an ADU and driveway, from what I'm seeing.
right, so here's what I suggest. Since there's clearly more questions on the ADU, we, with the board's permission, I think we may need to go back to the drawing board on the ADU.
Okay.
And we certainly, with the board's permission, would withdraw that request for variances without prejudice, and give us an opportunity to take another look at things.
Do you want to continue it, so you guys can go back to the drawing board and not sort of
Well,
just remove it all together? I mean, you could, you know the rules, but you can remove it and just approve sort of the barn and the house, or it's up to you.
I understand. So I think that the predicament of sorts that the client will be in is, it will have a ripple effect. We are moving forward on the structure itself with renovations. We have a contractor there. There's lead time on the other structure, should you approve the relief there. And so I'm not confident that a month is going to do it, but yet we have all these other things that may be tied up.
Sure.
And so I think given the concerns and the issues that are raised by the board, maybe we need to go back to the drawing board on the ADU.
Okay.
And withdraw it without prejudice. And
Absolutely.
maybe you'll see us again
Yep,
very
absolutely.
quickly.
Yeah.
But we certainly want to move forward on the other relief that's requested.
On the barn and the screened-in porch?
The barn and the bump out on the rear of the main structure, those are important as well.
Sure.
And it will, hopefully, if you should approve those, that will keep us moving.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's not a problem at all. I mean, I would definitely, I would also, if you guys haven't already, talk to some of the folks that live in the neighborhood about
Yes.
that, because, I only live, I moved 300 feet, so I didn't move far. So it's a very tight-knit group, so I think certainly, it'll be helpful. About the ADU. Yep.
Okay,
So,
fair enough.
but, regardless, so that means you've talked to us already about the barn, you've talked about the addition to the existing building. Is there anything you guys wanted to add to those, two items?
I don't think so. I think, except unless the board has questions or unless
Yeah.
there are folks here who raise issue or have questions, I think those things are fairly straightforward. I think
Absolutely.
they're tied into the lot itself and some of the issues that are there. So we're asking for a favorable motion and approval of those variances.
Of course. Let me make sure that anyone on the board have questions concerning the barn and the addition to the back at this moment? Okay. No? Okay. Anything else you want to add? Nope?
No.
Okay, we'll see if there's anyone out there who wants to speak on behalf of this petition. So, you want to go first? Come on up. And again, just make sure the mic is on. State and spell your name, please.
My name is Howard Browning, HOWARDBROWNING.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. So go ahead, Mr. Brown.
I am just speaking and/or raising concern. Noticed a survey post on my mother's property adjacent. That is, you can see Browning Louise in the screen there.
Yep.
So it's that piece of property. And that fence line that's on that drawing there is the existing fence.
Yes, and that was the fence I was talking about. It's
Correct.
shocking to me that it's about 5 feet over, but
Yeah, so
Four.
knowing that that fence has not changed, that fence line has not changed in 50 years,
probably.
and that the survey marker seems to be 6 feet onto what we perceived was our property.
Right.
There seems to be an issue there. So we would request that we have time to have that resurveyed.
Okay.
Additionally, if it is found that the survey is this survey is correct, then to determine what our legal rights are.
Right.
Having maintained that property for as long as we have.
Sure.
So that's really all I'm asking for.
Okay.
I understand that the ADU is taken off the table.
Right. Do
That
you want
was
to talk about that, or?
Well, so certainly the position of the ADU with this particular drawing, understanding if that property line is correct, basically removes the fence, basically puts that ADU right on the property line and takes away 6 feet of what we thought was our line. So in essence, that thing is right up against the property line. It's right on what we believed was the property line.
Because it's only a single driveway there, right? I mean,
Correct.
you're not left right there, so what is that, do you still have a driveway if you guys were to move over that 6 feet?
It would probably, yes, yeah, the driveway would be there. Obviously, there's
Okay,
bushes and
it's not that
trees
close.
and
Yep.
all that would be removed.
Okay.
So it's mostly just a concern addressing not only my family's interest, but my mother's interest in what she perceived was the property. I could say that the property's been sold a couple times in my lifetime, and there's
The hair
never
salon?
been a question.
The hair salon? You mean?
Yes, the
Yeah.
hair salon, that piece of
No
property.
longer, sorry, it's not a hair
Yep,
salon.
no longer a hair salon. But, and there's never been a question of the property line. I can't say for sure whether it's been surveyed. I can't say whether my mother has had it surveyed. So we're certainly alarmed to see that post in that position.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, and just to also know that the GIS by the town is within what, it's 5 or 10 feet sometimes? So don't go by the GIS
well,
system.
it's going off, I was,
The
I was
marker-
going off that, yeah, the marker.
Technically, the stake,
Exactly.
Should be
The
it.
position of the marker, and then also seeing this drawing and looking at that.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if there are markers. I know there was one on my house in Meadow somewhere.
Yeah.
I think it was in the back corner of,
Well, I
But-
guess we'll find them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we do intend to have the property surveyed.
Right.
And look at our legal position there.
yeah, absolutely. But in terms, well, we won't talk about the ADU, but in terms of the addition on the back of the building or the barn that they're looking to build in the middle of the driveway, are
It
you?
appears that it doesn't encroach, the proposed barn does not encroach on my mother's piece of property.
No, but I mean, even aesthetically, I mean, you're okay with it if a structure like that were to go up? Because it is 20-something feet.
It's been a parking lot for 50 years.
Yeah, I know. It will be different,
Yeah, it would be different,
sure.
sure.
Okay.
So,
Is that it?
that's it.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Brown?
And so the board knows, from time to time, we see applications where property lines are disputed, so the board can't withhold approval or pause an application to determine that, because only Superior Court can determine property lines, but you may wish to consult an attorney or surveyor to determine your legal rights.
Yeah, I'm doing both of those.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Goins.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Anyone else? Please state and spell your name.
Robert Dwyer, Robert Dwyer.
And do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, Mr. Dwyer.
So there is so much to be said on this lot. I mean, we could talk about this for 2 sessions. And really, it was nice to hear Mr. Browning stand up. One of my concerns was for his mother and her enjoyment. I don't think she has any idea about the proposed development in this case. I don't know if you're able to pull up the satellite view of that picture. And I would like to add to Mr. Browning's concerns, and I know that ADU is off the table for the time being. However, that is a porch right behind that car. Mr. Browning's mother is not able to get around very well anymore. She is hard of hearing. She's a delightful neighbor. That porch is a true source of enjoyment for her. When it is sunny, she and her daughters are often out there, and maybe Mr. Browning himself. So I don't think that she has any idea that there's a 21-foot structure proposed for that location. So that was I have 2 core concerns, that being one of them, and I wasn't sure that she would have anybody speaking on her behalf, so I'm glad that she does. My other concern, as you know, I did speak at a meeting a few months ago, and it was in regard to Mr. Hearn, who was applying for an ADU, and he was doing so for his son, who was getting divorced, who had 2 young children, and I couldn't be happier. We may have kids riding bikes on the street again, which would be nice. And it also falls squarely within the state statutes and the intentions of those statutes. And they are, in fact, the overriding statutes that has been pointed out by Mr. Rinaldi's attorney as well as the council. So, to stick to the ADU specifically, my concern is, the statutes, the intentions of the statutes at the state level is to address hardship and affordability. I think that this type of development is generally exploitive and runs contrary to those concerns. If you look at our school census, and not to go off on a tangent, but our school census is a canary in the coal mine. In the last 10 years, our school census has gone from 3,200 students to 2,200 students, approximately. We have lost approximately 100 students per year, every year, for 10 years. My wife and I, when our kids were in school, spent many, many hours helping out with sports teams, the schools, attending meetings. I find this type of development gravely concerning. As you can see, I am not anti-ADU. I am anti-exploitive development, and in light of other information that I received in the last week from other parties, I do have a concern that this is that type of development. So, regarding the lot square footage, it is falling currently in an R10 zone, is that correct? Now with the change in zoning. So that would require significant relief, as was indicated by Vice Chairman Daniels. It should automatically preclude this type of development. If you look at the zoning charts, a secondary structure should require that amount of relief. It should be, none of the other arguments in this case should matter. That should be the overriding argument, and would absolutely, especially given its orientation and its back with no windows immediately on Meadow Avenue, and the effect on Miss Browning, would greatly affect the neighborhood, would greatly affect density, intensity of development, infrastructure, I mean, on and on and on. So I really would agree with the state. You cannot create hardship. The state has determined that, and they have upheld that repeatedly. So those are my concerns. I think that there are so many concerns with that type of development. And although this case does not set a precedent, and each case is heard independently, there are many, many people watching this lot and the board's decision. It would certainly invite many more applications like this for properties like this, would lead to overdevelopment and overburden the town, and not create the relief that the state was trying to achieve by making housing affordable and addressing hardship. So, does anyone have any questions for me?
How do you feel about the barn and the addition on the back of the house?
I'm not terribly concerned. I mean, Ms. Hicks brought up the point of how do you get in there to actually properly build that. You would have to go on the neighbor's property. I don't know if she is even aware that this development is proposed. So,
for the barn, you mean?
I'm sorry, for the main structure.
Oh, for the main,
So-
in terms of building the,
It's
Not
a
the
screen
ADU,
porch
but
addition.
the
On the main house, there's a proposed screen
hair
porch
salon.
addition.
the primary dwelling.
It's going to be a house, and
Yeah.
it looks, it's attractive, it's nice, and.
But the screen porch, you don't have a problem with in the back?
No, I mean,
Okay.
as Mr. Browning indicated, it's pavement, you know.
Right.
It would certainly be an improvement. And I'm not trying to be a bad neighbor, and I don't think Mr. Browning is either. I think we're concerned, he's concerned for his mother, the family property. I'm concerned really for the general effect that approving this type of development would have on the town. And it would be devastating. It would absolutely make it, you know, I have two boys, one 21 and one 20. I too am going to be looking for ways on how to house them and get them started and keep them in this area. I mean, I joke with my wife, there's going to be no one left to change my diapers. I mean, we're heading in that direction, especially if you look at the school census. So, again, we're not intending to be bad neighbors, but I think, you know, although not officially setting a precedent, I think approving this type of development would in fact set a precedent and invite overdevelopment and exacerbate the affordability issue, no question. So regarding the barn, you did ask me, and we did not address that. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Anybody can hit the gong at any time.
No, you're-
So, you know, it seems to be an attractive structure. I mean, again, I don't have a problem with that type of development. One thing to add, in the Airbnb next door was brought up, and again,
That's behind you guys, right?
correct. It was, I believe, the old fire station, the stable for the old fire station.
I heard.
It's interesting. One of our neighbors next to the Brownings is getting cancer treatments once a week. She goes up to Boston, spends a day getting chemotherapy on a Tuesday night on a July evening when she just wants to relax and enjoy herself best she can. There's a disco ball and karaoke in the neighbor's property. We don't need any more of that. And as was pointed out by Ms. Goins, that once you approve something like this, although it's not supposed to be a short-term rental, it's not supposed to be a rental property, you don't have any control over what happens. And one of the things, and this is what got my wheels turning, so it's Robert Rinaldi applying for this. Robert Rinaldi, in turn, sells it to his own development corporation. It's not the same person. It's not the same owner. Are they bound by the same rules and regulations? I don't think that they are. So
The board knows zoning approvals run with the land, so any relief granted to an individual applicant, whether it's a corporation or a person, the subsequent owners are bound by that. And as for rentals, I know that the board remembers there's a state prohibition that ADUs shall not be used for short-term rentals, but there is not language in the law prohibiting rentals. In other words, there's nothing that requires ADUs to be owner-occupied.
there really is, unfortunately, though, no mechanism for enforcement. You know, a neighbor would have to raise a concern and address that. And then you could rent that entire parcel out to a family, a wedding weekend, a barn. It really, again, leads to my concern of exploitive development. And so that is, that's the concern. It does not help with the affordability issue, and it does not help, again, with relief, because in this case, you cannot create hardship according to the state. So, anyone else?
Board members, any other questions? No. Mr. Dwyer?
The last thing I would add is many people, you know, talk about the housing shortage. Many say there isn't a housing shortage, and I strongly suspect that this type of development is the reason why people can't find a place to live. We don't have a shortage of homes. We have a shortage of available homes for people. Available, affordable homes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dwyer. Okay, anyone else want to speak on behalf of this petition? Okay. Do you guys, you want to come up and do some final words to it, and we'll see?
There was a lot of discussion about the ADU, which we've agreed to withdraw without
Table it,
prejudice. We want to take into consideration input and comments from the board. Most of what has been said is now moot, not relevant. I do, though, I can't let it be said that what's being proposed is exploitive. It's not. It's not accurate. It's not what's being proposed. These folks have moving into town. They bought a piece of property. They took a piece of property that's been for sale. I think everyone knows who drives by it for years, for a long period of time. And they've invested a significant amount of money in trying to make it and bring it back into conformance with zoning. So there's that. I would also say, but your solicitors beat me to the punch regarding the boundary. What I would add to this is that the only competent evidence that you do have regarding the boundary is a survey that's been submitted by the applicant. That's it. You haven't heard from a property owner. You've heard from a son of a property owner. You haven't heard from a property owner. And so that's what is before the board. And lastly, and it is a matter of public record, it is part of the application, it has been posted online, and I would say that everyone within a 200-foot radius of this property was notified by the applicant by mail in a notice generated by the town as required by ordinance and state law. So when it's said that we don't know if people are aware of certain things, we complied with exactly what we're required to do in providing notice to everyone within that radius, in addition to it being advertised, in addition to it being posted online, in addition to all of that. So we thank you. Thank you for your consideration.
Of course.
Sure.
Please.
The only thing I would like to say regarding the ADU is when we were on the property in the summer, when we were thinking about what the construction was going to be, I texted Bob and let him know that we were doing that and that I would be happy to speak with him, with our surveyor, with our lawyer, and I spoke with your sister, and she expressed to me that any beautifying of that asphalt lot would be a really great thing to have happen, because that lot was sold by her family to the person that turned it into a parking lot in the first place. And she felt very happy about the things that we were going to be doing with the lot. So I'd just like to have the board know that, because those were our two primary neighbors. And we've also spoken to the Joys, which is the house that our lot on Meadow faces. And so I just, we've been there, we're there almost every other day. And we've introduced ourselves, so I just feel like it's not like we're all of a sudden creating some like development property. We're building a beautiful space and a home that we hope will be integrated wonderfully into the neighborhood, so I just.
Can I add just one thing?
Sure.
Please.
We didn't buy this property for an ADU, so we have no problem with that. I'd be glad to speak to the neighbors about these, whatever it is they're talking. And we had no plans to put a disco ball in the ADU, so.
Or karaoke, and they'll stipulate to that
Sure. Okay, thank you.
as a condition of approval.
Well, thank you. Well, fortunately, we don't have to talk about the ADU, that's off it. So, is there anyone else that wants to speak on behalf of this petition? For or against? No? Yeah, Ms. Brown, come on up.
I did want to say that if there's a question of whether or not you hadn't heard from the current, or the landowner, Marilyn Browning, I am her power of attorney.
Right.
And the property is in the family's name.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
So I
you
am
are
here
speaking-
representing.
You are representing them?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yep.
Okay, anyone else? Nope, okay. So we have the back screened porch addition. I keep calling it a screened porch. Is it a screened porch? Is it in fact, or it's an addition to the back, as well as the barn?
Barn height inside.
Yep. So, anybody have any thoughts on it? I think, I'm certainly familiar with the lot. I've crossed through that lot many times. It does get very skinny. There's not much room between the house and, for them to get in, but there's just enough for them to get in. It makes sense to have an extra outbuilding there to house a variety of things in. The back addition, it's not getting any closer to the sideline, so I don't particularly have any issue with the barn or the height or the location to the side yard. I think a lot of the outbuildings or buildings in that neighborhood sort of meet that same uniqueness, so I have less of an issue with it. I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts, or Ms. Hicks?
My comment is just that the picture that we see of the proposed house is lovely. I have no problem with the house. I have no problem with adding the, what the picture says, proposed screen porch. Although you mentioned family room, didn't you? I would think of that as more of a 4-season rather than a screen porch being a 1 or 2 season. But, okay, the addition. I mean, I have no problem with that, and I understand why you would like to have a garage, whether you want to call it a barn or a garage. So,
Thank you, Ms. Hicks. Anyone else want to add to that, or anyone have any concerns, questions?
No, I'll just say that I have absolutely no issue with the relief requested for both the barn and the addition.
Okay, thank you, Ms. McDonald. Okay, does anyone want to make a motion for these particular items? Or? Okay, I will do it. No, I'll do it. I'll do it. That's fine. Let me just grab, oh, there it is. Thank you. You're in preparation. Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the petition of Mr. Rinaldi of 26 Quarry Road. This is the property located at 382 Woodruff Avenue. This is a meeting that was held on February 18th, 2026, and it was concerning mainly 3 different things: an addition to the existing dwelling, a detached barn, and an accessory dwelling unit. So there were several individuals that spoke on behalf of this petition. We had Mr. O'Connor, the lawyer, as well as the Rinaldis, speaking on behalf of the petition. We had Mr. Browning, who's representing the premises next door. And then we had Mr. Dwyer, who's also next door, who spoke about the proposed changes. Of the proposed changes, I think they're of the 3, the detached barn and the existing dwelling addition, both the neighbors as well as myself felt that these do fit within our ordinance and to seek relief for those. But the accessory dwelling unit was removed, and that will be withdrawn without prejudice. So really the opposition to this was mainly of the ADUs, and since that was withdrawn, there really wasn't any opposition to the addition or the accessory or the addition or the barn, the garage. So of the materials entered, we had a variety of photographs and renderings of the barn and the front of the main house, as well as the floor plans and plot plan of the property. The board finds that the hardship seeks relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land or structure, and it's not due to the general characteristics of the surrounding area, nor is it due to any physical or economic disability of the applicant, accepting those physical disabilities addressed. And in disabilities addressed in 452430. And this is because it is a very unique site. It is it's a fairly narrow property that extends from Woodruff to Meadow Avenue, so it is a little bit unique in that sense. So the fact that they needed relief for the back addition does make sense, because they're adding it to the existing structure, which is not in conformance with the setbacks. So, and the barn, they're trying to locate the barn off center of the main property, and again, since the property isn't very wide, they needed 3 feet from the side yard, so they needed a 3-foot relief. And then also for the height, they're allowed 15, but they wanted 21.6, oh no, I'm sorry, 15. The barn is 18 feet, therefore 3 feet is requested. So they want an additional 3 feet. And and again, this is just due to the unique, they wanted something skinnier, but can have a little loft space. The board finds that the hardship is not the result of any prior action of the applicant because there was nothing else the board found of anything that was considerable. The board finds that granting this variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the zoning ordinance or the comprehensive plan upon which the ordinance is based. And that's because there are a lot of unique outbuildings in this neighborhood. There are detached garages on property lines, not just off it by 3 feet or so. And then also the main house, that being offset or being right on the property line, is not out of the ordinary for this neighborhood. So the board finds that the hardship suffered by the owner of the subject property, if dimensional variance is not granted, will amount to more than a mere inconvenience, meaning that the relief sought is minimal to reasonably enjoy the permitted use of the property which it's devoted for. This is because, again, it's a smaller house, it's a smaller, skinnier property, so having an outbuilding that they can house both their cars as well as any equipment that wouldn't fit in the house. There are no conditions attached to this, and like I said, that the ADU was withdrawn, and that is seen without prejudice. So with that, I make a motion to approve those two things of the addition and the barn. Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Elia. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Elia? Aye. Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. Ms. Hicks?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald? Aye. Mr. Daniels?
Aye.
Motion passes. Good luck. Thank you. Okay. So, Nedewick. You guys, I'm sorry? Ned Whittick. All right. There's a petition of Michael Ned Whittick of 151 Weather Vane Road of Wakefield, Rhode Island, for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to construct a 22-foot 6-inch by 13-foot 8-inch deck attached to a single-family dwelling. The deck will be located 19.4 feet from the rear property line, so a rear setback is 30 feet, so therefore they need 10.6 feet of a relief. Lot size is 0.26 acres. A dimensional variance is required per the zoning ordinance, Section 401, Schedule of Dimensional Regulations, and Section 907 are Standards of Relief. Owners of the property are Michael and Cynthia Nedwick for the premises located at 151 Weather Vane Road, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 48-4, Lot 56, and is zoned R20. Good evening. How you guys doing?
Good evening.
So state and spell your names, please.
Michael Nedwick, M-I-C-H-A-E-L, N-E-D-W-I-D-E-K. And you pronounced it perfectly well the last time.
The last times, yes, I'm trying. Hopefully I keep it.
Cynthia Nedwick, C-Y-N-T-H-I-A, N-E-D-W-I-D-E-K.
And you guys both swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but it?
Yes.
I do.
All right, so please tell us what you'd like to do.
We'd like to continue and finish the deck that was partially constructed. I'm guessing maybe 2/3 the way there. You're gonna have to ask our builder about that. He's actually here tonight. We had a stop work order presented to us on September the 5th of 2025, and it ended where it ended on that particular day. We're seeking relief of that dimension that you spoke of, that we determined by survey was the amount that we actually needed. So we hired a surveyor, had the property surveyed after being there for 36 years, and I was kind of surprised that actually how the dimensions came out. Is a very uniquely shaped lot, geometrically speaking. Cindy's a retired math teacher. I don't know what geometrical shape that's described as, but if you probably see it there. It's very unique. So yeah, we're seeking relief, in particular where the stairs come down from the back of the deck to the point, the nearest point of property line is, I think, the item in question. And those stairs were requested and designed by us for a couple of reasons. One, neither one of us is getting any younger, so the slope on the stairs would be much more appropriate for our aging. And we also have 2 little grandchildren, ages 4 and 2, which we take care of 2 days a week. And so they were first and foremost in our mind at that too. The previous set of stairs that was on there was on the other side of the deck. They were just downright dangerous.
Very steep and very narrow.
Yeah.
It's just too steep.
Yeah.
So by bumping it out, we were able to include the stairs in the front and just make it safer and a little more space.
So we've been there about 36 years on that
boy.
property. Yeah, 41-year residents of South Kingstown. Our last 36 years in Sweet Island Farm. We love it there. It's a great neighborhood. I heard the gentleman speak before about the school census and stuff like that, and that's got nothing to do with what we're talking about here. But it did come to mind that our corner 4-way stop sign just down the end of our street was once, when our youngest child, who's 31 now, was of school age, there had to be 15, 20 kids at that bus stop, and now there's, I think, 3. So, I mean, it's a sign of the times, obviously.
It's changing.
But we love the neighborhood. We want to stay. We came upon some fortune recently where we actually had some money to do some home improvements. And so that's where we began, actually on the interior, and we extended it to the outside of the house. We just want to make that deck more comfortable, safer, and something we can use as many months out of the year that we possibly could weather-wise.
And so I just, it probably has nothing to do with it. Is that your shed?
That is my shed, and again, that was a shock to my system.
It's
as
okay.
well, too.
You're not here
Yeah.
for that, so I'm not here to give you a hard time, but it's like.
No, that was one of our purchases. We never had a shed. And
Right.
my wife's been after me for 1,000 years to get a shed because I have a small landscape business I do too, and store the mowers in the garage, and,
Yep.
and that hasn't gone over that well. So we got the shed. We had the South Pier people, I forget the name of the Lakeside Trading. I
Lakeside
think.
Traders, yeah, well,
They
yeah.
plopped it down there. I'd never given it a second thought
Nope.
until I saw that survey, and my eyes popped open like yours probably did too, so.
That's
yeah.
really wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so, so it's mostly built at this point? It's pretty much built?
Framework is all
The framework is pretty much up? Okay, so you
Correct.
guys are, this is kind of the footprint it's being built as?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, board members, any questions? I hate to breeze you right through because, you guys waited here 3 hours, but.
Oh, plus we watched the kids all day today, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know. I think, all right, so let's see if anybody else is here.
Okay.
You probably don't have to move. You ladies want to speak on this behalf of this? All right, so why don't you guys sit down, and if you're all set, and why don't you come on up, and you can ask any question you like, and, the mic's still on, so all you have to do is just state and spell your name, please.
Sure. Deborah Tranter, DeborahTranter.
And what's your, do you swear to tell the whole truth and
I do.
nothing but the truth? Yes,
What's my
excellent.
what?
So, do you live in the neighborhood?
Yes,
Okay.
we live on Sweet Island and 281.
281. Okay.
283,
280, okay.
sorry.
That's all right, it's all right. So you're right down the street. So what do you have questions on, or what are you concerned
Our
about?
concern was the noise level. I thought this was a new deck when the letter came in about it.
Right.
So we were just concerned about the noise because in the past, I know it's got nothing to do with the deck, but we've had noise from fireworks and just the
Oh.
ones that are really, really loud
Big ones.
bangs.
Yeah.
And the idea of a deck bigger than the one we have, but anyway.
It sounds like there was a deck that we can ask them, but it sounds like there was a deck there already.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a launching pad, but I'm assuming it's we'll see how big it was existing or not. So,
Anyway, that was the main concern. Did you have
So you're concerned, because it's encroaching on the back. I don't know if you saw the site plan.
Yeah,
It's a really
One of the
uniquely
reasons
shaped.
we love that neighborhood is the open space.
Yeah, sure.
Open spaces, and, you know, as long as it doesn't,
There isn't much like, there aren't big hedges like the property we saw before with the 30-foot hedgerows in between. So it's almost kind of hard probably to figure out where one starts and one stops, I'm sure, but,
Yeah.
okay.
but no big deal.
Yeah,
we
no, well, thanks
want to
for
be good
sticking it out.
neighbors, it was just a noise thing that,
Okay, well, we'll ask them and we'll see if there's going to be any noise generated by the after effects of
all right,
this, so.
thank you.
Did you want to say something as well?
Well, I'd just like to say that
Yep, I'm going to have to get your name though. So just,
Matilda Hills,
and
and-
spell that for me, please.
pardon me?
Spell that for me, please.
Mathilda,
And Hills. Okay.
Hills with an S.
Okay, excellent. And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but
Yes,
the
I
truth?
swear to tell the whole
Excellent.
truth.
So what is it that you're?
I'd like to say that we are very fortunate to have very good neighbors. We're very fortunate and appreciate it, and we'd like to keep it that way.
Yes.
So we just would like to have respect for, I spend a great deal of time at home because I am somewhat limited in my whereabouts going around. So we would like to make sure that observation of noise ordinances and so forth.
Sure.
Yes, and when it comes to people having more space for a deck or whatever, to be aware of the proximity
others.
of the neighbors. That's all.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yes,
Okay, well, we'll find out what's going on over there,
thank you.
at least relative to a deck being built, so.
Appreciate
Okay,
it.
no problem. Thank you.
Thank you for all your efforts, all of you.
No problem. We're paid really high is why. So you guys want to come back up, just so we can ask you a few questions? And you don't have to answer them if you feel like it's not relevant, but I know there was mention of pyrotechnics and so forth in the neighborhood, and
Right.
so.
And, I admit, I'm not an arsonist or pyrotechnic engineer, all right?
So-
Yeah.
And you already had a deck?
Yeah,
that was
we had a
there?
deck there, yeah.
And you're changing the stairway a little bit?
Yes.
So it's not there's no more deck area, or is there a little bit more deck area
There's a little
than
bit more
there was?
deck area.
Okay.
Yep.
But not as, like, how much more?
From the original plan?
Yeah, from what was there?
I,
About 80 square feet more?
okay.
No, you could say it. I'm
So
pretending like
yeah,
he didn't
that's-
say it,
that's-
'cause
That's our builder, and
didn't
he
swear him
knows
in.
all the dimensions.
Okay.
I just eyeball it and take a look, and I say, that's better. than
So
it
you think
used
it's
to be."
about 80 square feet more?
Yeah.
Than it
The
was?
original deck was almost an afterthought with our contractor who built, we had that house built
Okay.
in 1987 to 89.
Yep.
And we kind of, budget-wise, didn't have any money for any extra landscaping or any exterior stuff. So we've decided to put a deck up as quick as we could and as fast as as efficiently as we could and inexpensive as we could back in those days. And so he put a deck up for us, and it lasted a while, but, you know, it was definitely deteriorating.
Sure.
To the point where it just wasn't right and wasn't usable. So, and we pledged to be good neighbors and keep the noise levels at appropriate level.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Any other questions for these guys? Okay. Thank you. All right. Any concerns, questions? Motions? Please? Sure.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve the petition of Mr. Michael Nedvedick. Thank you. At a meeting held on Wednesday, February 18th, we received the application from Mr. Michael Nedvedick of 151 Weather Vane Road. Both Michael and his wife Cynthia spoke on behalf of the application. There were no additional people speaking on behalf. Ms. Deborah Tantrum and Matilda Hills spoke not necessarily in opposition, but voiced their concern of potential noise during the construction, and I believe that that was addressed. The materials entered into the record tonight by Mr. Nedvedick our application ZBR-26-3 for Assessor's Map 48-4 on Lot 56, which is zoned R20. The board finds that the hardship from which the applicant seeks relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land and structure and not the general characteristics of the surrounding area, and is not due to the physical or economic disability of the applicant, excepting those physical disabilities addressed in 45-2430. The applicant is simply requesting to construct a 22.6 by 13.8 foot deck, which will be attached to their single-family home. The deck is 19.4 feet from the rear property line and setback is 30 feet, therefore relief of 10.6 feet is requested. The board finds that the hardship is not the result of any prior action of the applicant. Board further finds that granting the requested variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the zoning ordinance of the comprehensive plan upon which the ordinance is based. Therefore, the board finds that the hardship suffered by the owner of this subject property, if the dimensional variance is not granted, amounts to more than an inconvenience, meaning that the relief sought is minimal to a reasonable enjoyment of the permitted use to which the property is proposed and devoted.
Motion was made by Mr. Elia. Can I get a second? Second. Second by Ms. Hicks?
No, Ms. Hicks. I insist.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Elia?
Aye.
Ms. Hicks?
Aye.
Mr. McDonald? Mr. Daniels? Mr. Cagnetta, aye. Motion passes. Good luck, guys. We don't have minutes, right, to approve? Oh. Oh. Okay. We'll just wait? Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, we can't save anything. Any other notes, like, everyone gonna be here next month? As far as we know? 25th. Have a good night. There are minutes in there? Are they in here?
So the November 19th and the December 17th minutes should be in there?
Yep. Okay. Do you want to make any changes to them? I, for some reason, didn't have them. You okay with them? Minutes are okay? Okay. Do you want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I will make a motion that we approve the 2 sets of minutes.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay. Excellent. Oh, I had it on the wrong date. I had it on the 18th, so it's the 25th.
Straight up.
I know.
Straight up.
Anything else that we have to cover? Oh, I have them. It's just, yeah, I do. I just didn't think I was going to be talking tonight. Okay, so nothing else to add? Okay, so a motion to adjourn? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?